So we're here speaking to JP Cuevas of Bank of America Merrill Lynch, and we're going to talk about global trade and, of course, a focus on Latin America. So in Latin America, sort of the big countries that the world has been looking at over the past few years are Brazil and Argentina, but it kind of seems like their shine has faded a bit. You know, what are some of the unique challenges those countries face?
Historically, it's true that Argentina and Brazil has been the major countries regarding trade. What have the shifts has been in the last, I would say, 5 to 10 years. Brazil has been continue booming, growing, 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 and it's going to continue because it's very big and there's a lot of opportunities there. There's still a lot of flow of foreign investment capital there. The shift is now going to Mexico because Mexico is changing really the future of the economy. Recently, the president has decided to launch a very interesting reforms, and the package of reforms is discussing at this moment at the Congress. At the minute that they pass that, there's going to be a huge transformation in Mexico. So now we're going to go back to Brazil and Mexico. Energy reforms, oil and gas. So it's going to be a big change because they're opening traditional monopolies in the market, like the Pemex. Pemex is going to be able to negotiate. Pemex is a petroleum company in Mexico. Is going to be able to negotiate, directly with third parties. In the past, everything was done by Pemex. So now there's a lot of foreign direct investment. The last 3 months in Latin America, the major flow of foreign direct investment has gone to Mexico. People, under the expectations of the approval of this legislation, they're investing in Mexico, and that's going to be something that we need to keep an eye there.
So yeah, my next question was about sort of what other trade opportunities are there in Latin America, and you mentioned Mexico. It seems like a shift to the north. And
I will say that there are 5 countries that people need to keep in mind in Latin America, and I'm not saying anything bad about the other ones, but the major ones I will say it's at this moment is Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Peru, and Mexico. And there are several reasons for that. Brazil is going to continue being the largest country in Latin America, okay? They're rich. I mean, it's the economy is going to be booming even with the problems that they have. Because the World Soccer Cup, everyone is talking about the World Soccer Cup. The World Soccer Cup is going to have an economic cost for Brazil. They're estimating about 0.5% on the GDP estimations that is going to go down. So, but despite the fact of that cost, Brazil is going to continue growing. I mean, the previous...
And of course the Olympics as well.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. They move in the previous presidential period, they moved 16 million people from poverty to middle class, okay? Dilma Rousseff, the president of Brazil now, the target is to move more people. So what you're generating, you're increasing the power, okay, at the middle class, and they're the ones that they're doing consumption. So they're going to continue growing. They're going to continue demanding a lot of things. Now, what's happening on the other side of on the other ocean, let me put it that way. Let's talk about Chile, Peru, Colombia, and Mexico. That's a Pacific Rim. Pacific Alliance. These 4 countries are creating an incredible corridor of free trade countries where you're going to be able to move goods and services from the countries with 0 barriers, and it's open to the Pacific.
That was my next question about whether, I know you mentioned Mexico, but so are you saying that sort of South America is now looking towards Asia? Is this going to really open up Asia for them?
There are two doors to Asia. You can do it Atlantic or you can do it Pacific. What I'm saying is, in the Atlantic Rim, you still have the Mercosur, which is Argentina, Uruguay, Brazil, okay? It's a closed environment. They have done a lot of treaties, but again, it's still a closed environment. The Alianza del Pacifico, or Pacific Alliance, what it's representing is an open alliance, okay, that is doing something unique. And we haven't seen this in I don't want to say in the world because it's not true, but the way that they're integrating the markets is through the alliance of countries that have the majority of the trade agreements in the world. Chile, Peru, Colombia, Mexico, they have more treaty agreements, trade agreements with the rest of the world, Japan, Asia, you name it. In Asia, you name it, any country, there is trade agreement with these 5 countries. But on top of that, and this is something that is fantastic, they're integrating the capital markets. So it's not only a trade corridor, I apologize, It's not only a trade corridor, okay? It's also the integration of the market, and that's very important because remember that pension funds in the countries are the ones that are moving the economies. So it's going to be quite different looking at the pension funds in Chile investing in Colombia directly, using one single vehicle, or the Mexican ones investing in Peru, using this corridor. So on top of the trade opportunity that represents this, because you put the 5 countries together, then you have the size of Brazil. That's the difference.
So thank you very much for giving us sort of an overview of what's going on in South America. But of course, you know, we're speaking the day after England's loss to Uruguay in the World Cup. So I need to ask you, who's your pick for the win?
Okay, originally I'm from Chile. So you can realize that I'm very happy because we defeat Spain, okay? I think it's going to be a tough, this is not a normal World Soccer Cup, to be honest with you. England still have chances depending on the game of Costa Rica. So now we're going back to the math. In Chile, we're used to the math, okay? Because everything we were using the calculators in order to see the points and the numbers. Hopefully it's going to be a Latin American country. Could be Chile, could be Brazil, could be Argentina. But there are a couple of European teams that are playing very well. The Netherlands and...
I think you're hedging your bets.
I'm trying to.